Alrighty, how's it going, everyone? It is Ethan, or Unknown Coder, as always, a senior software engineer out in the industry. So, the last couple episodes in live streams, we've been working on the modal or the drop down guy for the emojis. We're going to continue to work on that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get it buttoned up. We need to figure out the search. So I basically completely forgot that we even had a search bar, so we definitely need to do that. And what we were working on at the end of last stream is we were getting this set up. So basically what we have here is a text box and we can type in it, and then it actually gets overlaid with like a paragraph, because we want to actually, instead of displaying these emojis, we want to actually display the images. So we need to go ahead and write a function that does that. But the other thing is, as you can notice, we don't have a cursor here, and we definitely need to figure out how to get that cursor. I think I know how. If not, we need to figure that out, but I think that's gonna be the first thing that should be fairly easy to fix. And then after that, I want to go ahead and write a function to basically convert the emoji, the actual emoji text, into an image, and then put it inside of like a span probably, and kind of figure out how to do that. So let's go ahead and hop back into the code. So let's go into, I guess, our feed post creator CSS. So right now, we should have like a transparent or hidden or something. Yeah, so we can see here we have background color transparent, color transparent. So what I want to go ahead and try to do is there is a carrot color, and I want to try to go ahead and say carrot color auto and see if it's going to fix this. I think because of the transparent background and transparent color, it might not be showing up. So this is hopefully the first one that's pretty easy to fix. So we type, okay, so unfortunately it's not going to be as easy as I had hoped. Interesting. So the carrot, so what if we say carrot color is black? Maybe auto ends up making it transparent or something. So let's see. Okay, so yes, so now we do have a carrot color. Now I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be black, so maybe we just try to find kind of like one of the gray colors. So like this, I think this is like our regular gray color, and this might be a little bit light. We might try to find a darker gray, but we'll just see what this looks like. The only thing is, I just want to make sure we have a carrot. I think black might look better. The only issue is that I have dark mode on like everything, so it's hard to actually tell. So I think it might be black, and then for dark mode it's white. So let's go ahead and put it back to black, and I think black looks okay, honestly, but we want to make sure we have that carrot there. I think that looks a lot better. Hello, this is working now. The carrot looks a little bit big, but maybe I'm just wrong. But yeah, so it looks pretty good. We can highlight, delete, everything's works in the way it's supposed to that way. So now what we basically need to do is we need to make a function that more or less maps through, because even whenever we like change the color here, the skin tone, this still has a link to the actual emoji itself. The issue is that the way that we have it mapped right now is basically we have the actual emoji, and then we have the modifiers and so on and so forth. So basically what I'm thinking is we're going to basically just make a map with the emoji, and then maybe, I don't know, the image or something. So basically just have emoji as the emoji and then the image, and we can map it. So let's go ahead and hop into our code and go into our emoji utils. So what I'm thinking is maybe we go ahead and basically make a const that's called like mapped emojis or something, and go from there. So let's go ahead and say exports const mapped emojis. Actually we'll say, well, first we need to make sure we export const, how do I want to say this, emoji underscore image map, maybe is it equal to emojis.filter, and we're going to, or not filter, we want to map. And basically let's go ahead and map each emoji and do this. And actually let's just say emojis, so it equals to emojis.map each emoji. So basically we're going to loop through each emoji, and then what we want to go ahead and do is for each emoji we'll say if, and how do we want to do this? So we'll say if our images, or actually we'll say if emoji dot images dot length is greater than 1. So if there's more than one image, that means it has a modifier. So then what we want to do, this isn't going to work either, is it? We're going to I don't think this is going to work either. How do we want to do this? Because I don't think this is going to work, because we also have to loop through this, and the map is only going to return one emoji itself. I mean, we could return an array, but then it's going to get a little bit funky. I don't know how that would work. How do we want to do this? So let's go ahead and let's go ahead. We'll keep this as is, and this will actually equal to this for now. And let's go ahead and make a function that returns an array, and we'll just call whatever equal to that. So we'll go ahead and just go, here's probably fine. Export function, so we can go ahead and hoist to the top, and we'll say map emojis with images, and then this won't take anything in, but this will return a array. So let's go ahead and just say interface, interface, I don't know what to call this, mapped emoji, maybe, I don't know. And this is literally just going to have an emoji, which is a string, and it's going to have an image, which is a string. Cool. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to say emojis dot for each emoji, and we're going to go ahead and say for each emoji we're going to do some work, and we're going to do some other loops and some stuff like that. And then here what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to say let emoji list, or let's mapped emojis, maybe mapped emojis equal to a new list. And let's also make sure that we return the mapped emoji array so it knows what to expect. And then we can also go ahead and make sure that this knows that this is going to be an array of mapped emojis. Again, we're going to call, basically what we're going to do is we're going to say this is equal to map emoji with images, and then that should work, I think. I mean, I haven't done JavaScript in a bit, other than just doing a little bit of React here and there, so hopefully that works. So now we have our mapped emojis. So basically what we can say is like, we can just like, if our emoji dot is images dot length is equal to 1, so then we know more or less that we can just go ahead and say mapped emojis dot push, and then what we can go ahead and do is we can say that emoji is emoji dot emoji, and then the image is images emoji dot images and 0. So we know no matter what, there's only one image in there, so that means there's no modifiers we have to deal with, and we can just go ahead and do that. So otherwise we're gonna have to go ahead and say like for we'll say let I equal to 1, because we'll start out at the first one with the images. I will be less than images dot length, or emoji dot images dot length. And this will be interesting, how we're gonna do this. We could also map, I don't love that idea. We could, let's just do this, because we need the index for the other one. So basically what we could do here Or what we could do is for I equals 0, I is equal to emoji.modifiers.length, and this will probably be a little bit easier. So then we'll go ahead and say it will affect, well, you see, nothing can, I don't think anything at this point, other than the fact that he's not smart enough to program. So that's obviously a downside, but that broken ball. So I guess he does have his upsides as well. But basically now we're going to push the emoji, will be emoji.modifier, emoji.modifiers 0, and then the image will be emoji.images of I+1. Buckle up, you might learn something, bucko. Okay, so that should be that, and then we can return the mapped emojis. What's wrong? String. Oh, that's a string array. Exactly, that's right. Images 0 should be a string. Mapped emojis. Oh, okay. Cool. Of course. Okay, that's fine. Emoji image. Heck, I'm sure that Kobe could probably even code harder than both LeBron and MJ. So I think he has a hat in the ring as well. So make sure that's like that. There we go. Okay, cool. That's fair enough to fix. So now we should theoretically have our mapped emojis. We probably want a function now that takes in the, how do I want to do this? Because this is a TS, it's not a TSX. I can make it a TSX. I know, I've always got the best points. I could make it a TSX, or I could just make the function emoji drop down, or the post creator, but I think it's probably going to need to be used again. So I guess I'm just going to rename this to a TSX. And then we'll make a new export const, and we will, how do I want to do this? We'll just say convert string to paragraph or something. And then this will take in the content string, whoops, like a type, and then this will return a JSX element, JSX.element. All right, so sure, that'll work, I guess. Equal to this, make it an arrow function, and then we'll return a p tag like that, and it'll be fine. So now we need to basically loop through this and look for an emoji, and then convert that emoji into the image. So I'll get onto that. Let me do some research for 5 minutes, big brain, and I'll figure that out easy peasy, So what we'll go ahead and do is this. So we need to loop through each content. So we'll say, do I want to say for let I equal to 0. I is less than content dot length, and I plus plus is probably a more efficient way to do this. So we'll go ahead and say if nothing can save me from being a horrible gamer at this point. That's why I've just given up on of gaming and just program full-time all the time now. So if our okay, this is gonna be difficult now, huh? Because we have to search for it by the name. So I'm gonna need to do some research. So JavaScript search for object in array by property. It's probably an easy way to do this. Get JavaScript array value by property. So let's see. Filter object doesn't help me though, because I don't want to just equal to 6. Is there a better snippet? Define method returns a value in the array if the element in that array. So we can be like, if our whoops, what I call this? Emoji image map. So if emoji image map, scroll back down real quick, dot find, whoops, dot find, and then we're gonna have e dot emoji is equal to content dot char at, whoops, dot char at I. So if that's the case, then we want to basically replace that. So I think what we want to do, or what I want to do, is convert this into an array. I don't know how to do that in JS convert string to an array. That's even possible. String to array conversion. Cool, let's take a look. I know how to do it in Java, but I do not know how to do it in, so that's not what I want. Let's see. Array.from. Cool, let's try that. So let's say let characters equal to, and this will be array.from, and then let's go ahead and pass in the content. Is that what? Yep, it's called content. And let's go ahead and just console.log this and return the p tag, and we can just go ahead and for now do this and pass the content. What I want to be able to do is I want to console.log the characters array just to make sure it looks correct, and then we'll kind of loop through that array and then do a little bit of a change here. This will end up being like a JSX or a character or something, so it'll be interesting. But let's go back into our feed post creator, and the value here instead of post content, which this is going to get interesting. This is going to be the convert. I already forgot what I called it. Let's see. It's exported, I think. Whoops, wrong one. Convert string to paragraph. Let's actually call this convert post content to paragraph, and it is exported. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll do this, convert that, and do this, and hopefully this is fine. Fingers crossed. Right now I just want to, oh, you know what? This is incorrect. We want post content there, so that's fine. Let's change this back to post content. It's the p tag up here that we want this. So we want to say, get rid of this. And let's also, I guess, grab this class really quick and throw it on here. So now This is at least the same. Whoops, forgot the class name though. Class name equal to that. Cool. And come in here and we can basically get rid of this p tag and delete that p tag, and we'll say okay. Is there a current post? Yes. Current post.content. Otherwise it's just post content, which post content I think it's just nothing. So I don't think it's gonna hurt anything. We can just call this, I guess. So we'll just go ahead and say convert post content to paragraph. Okay, and I think that should be legal as long as, you know, we actually go ahead and import it. And we'll also need to do the same thing here, convert this and do that. And then here we'll keep it the same. It's fine, but this should output a paragraph tag and it should look more or less the same. This gets updated and then it should also print out the data. So right now we shouldn't see much of a difference. It should look the exact same unless I scuff something. Let's give it a refresh just to check. Looks the same so far. Come in here, go to the console. That's fine. Nothing in the array. Hello. This is still working. We are about, whoops, can't type, to slow this thing way down. Okay, it works. You can delete that. Goes back to nothing. Chef's kiss. Looks good. Cool. So that works as expected. So now we can basically loop through each of the characters, and then we're going to replace the character with the image. So what we'll say is this, and we might also need to set up a special class to make this work properly. But we'll say for, and do we want a for of, or do we want to, I think we do want a regular for loop, because I think we need to know the index. So I is less than characters.length, and I plus plus, we want the index of this. So let's go ahead and get the index. And what we're gonna go and do is say, like, that thing that we did before, I shouldn't have got rid of it, but we should say for, and then emojis image map dot find. So if our emoji image map dot find, and we'll say e for emoji, we're going to say e dot emoji is equal to our characters of I. So if this is the case, then what we're going to go and do is, first off, let's go ahead and make the span. So we'll say let, and this will be interesting. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm afraid that this is going to treat it like an actual, you know, an actual, like, what's it called? So we'll have to see, I guess, what happens. We might need to turn this array into, like, map it into, like, I don't know, a paragraph or something weird. We'll see what happens, but we'll say let span equal to, and what if we say document, what if we really get crazy, dot can we create element and it's a span, right? What if we do that, and then we say span dot, and then we need the what we need to do is we need to set the style. Can we say span dot style dot, and then we can set a couple things, like so first we need background image, and background image will equal to, and I forget how we have this set up, so let's go down to the emoji drop down. So you have to set it up a certain way, and I always forget how to do this. So it's a URL and then brackets or parentheses. So we'll say URL like this, and actually we'll use a backtick because we're smarter than that. And we'll close this off, and then this is going to be $ curly brace, and we're gonna have, I guess we say E, or because we have the find here, but the issue is we don't actually have which emoji. I guess we can go ahead and say right, we can go emoji underscore image map dot find. I'm guessing this returns the element, or does it return true or false? Find calls predicate once for each element of the array till it finds one where it returns true. If such element is found, it returns that element. Cool. So what we can say is we'll do the same thing. Find this. And then we will say dot image. I'm using Spring Boot with the Spring security and a couple other things. So we got the background color or the background image, and then we should probably go ahead and set a class on this that has a similar class to emoji dropdown, where we have height, width, and yada yada yada. So maybe we also go ahead and say set attribute. So span dot set attribute, and we're gonna set class to. We're gonna set class to what do we want to set this to? What will we set class to? So we prefix everything with feed post creator. So I guess we'll say feed post creator, and then we'll say post content emoji. And then let's go ahead and set this up really quick. So dot feed post creator content emoji, come in here, and we have our content. So let's just throw it here. And I'm more or less just gonna copy this. The height and width, the height and width, I'm gonna say like, I don't know, let's see. So our font size is 20px. So let's go 20 by 20, and then if that's too big, we can always change it. So yeah, so basically what we're gonna have is a span that has a background image, and we're doing that. So then now we want to go ahead and like splice this, I think. So we want to and I guess we could just set the, I think technically we could just go ahead and say, although it gets replaced, although it might be okay, characters I is equal to, because we want everything else to be the same, so I don't know if we necessarily need to splice it. So I'm going to try to not splice it, and this is mad because it's not a type string. We're going to say any, and it's going to get mad at us because it's type any, but it's fine. Now the thing that I'm concerned about is that this is going to print out like straight up a it's going to basically probably print out straight up a text version of this span, or the span's not going to work at all, but we can see what happens, I guess. So we type in here and we hit this. So yeah, didn't create a span. So we might have to, let's make sure that we got to this point. Console.log found the emoji, create a span, And let's also see if the span gets created. So console.log our span. Let's make sure the span gets created. Let's make sure all this is fine and dandy. So it does look like it worked. If we refresh and say hello everyone, and then put like a smiley face, I think I'll put an extra space. So it did find it. It found the emoji, create a span, and then emoji drop down. So I don't know why that's printing an emoji drop down. That's interesting. So it did create a span with the image and a class name. So that's good. I think it has what it needs there. And that looks fine. So this, let's see if it's putting the span in there. Maybe it is and I'm just going crazy. So let's go ahead and say console.log characters. Oh, you know what? That's because we're just putting that in there. Okay, so that's why. But still, let's go ahead and see. Let's make sure. Okay, it does have the span, so that's good. Now, this is a part that I don't think it's gonna work. Yep, okay, so it does not like that. So what we're gonna have to do is we're going to have to basically map this into a paragraph and return that paragraph. So once again, after we've done all this converting, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll say let paragraph equal to a, and this might not work, JSX dot, and JSX isn't going to pop up. Well, let's say document dot create element, and we'll create a div, and we'll see if this wants to work. I don't know if it's gonna work, but you never know. And we'll say paragraph dot, and we'll say set attributes. We'll set the class. Whoops. We'll set the class. And we might need to have class name to feed dash post creator. Creator post content, right? And then we basically need to say like for let char and I guess it's of, and then characters. So for each character, what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and say how do we want to do this? Because we need to set the inner HTML, right? So maybe we say paragraph dot inner HTML is equal to paragraph dot inner HTML plus char. Don't know if that's gonna work, but you know, you never know. Maybe it'll miraculously work. The other thing I'm concerned about is we're returning a JSX element. This isn't a JSX element, so I might need to look into how to like create a custom JSX element. That's not the right word, but do something similar to that. Let's console.log our paragraph and see what it looks like. And maybe we just like do a fragment with the paragraph inside of it or something. I don't know. So and maybe we need to do like a custom thing here, but I want to get rid of this guy because we know that's working. We don't need to console log the span. I know that's working. Okay, and this should stop breaking. So there's a div there. Why did I make it a div? This should be a p tag. Okay, let's clear it. This should be a p tag. Hello. So that works fine. If we click on this, we have a span. It's object HTML span object. Definitely not what we wanted. So how are we going to do that? We could set a child. That's possible. But I'm not sure that would work either. So another option is creating this paragraph up here, setting this attribute. Copy this. Right. Here's another option. So as we're going through this, we could say paragraph dot inner HTML is equal to paragraph dot inner HTML plus characters of I, right? And then if it happens to be this, actually I want this to be an if else because I don't want this happening every time. Otherwise, if it's not an emoji, we'll do that. If it is an emoji, what I'm thinking is maybe we, instead of changing the character, we take the span, we say paragraph dot, there should be an add child or a pin child, and then, although I don't know where this is gonna go, so that's also, you know, maybe it's not the best. Then we can append the span. Then we can console.log the paragraph. So maybe this is an option. If we refresh and we say, ooh, okay, so it does not like that. So that one, no bueno. That's interesting that it worked below, but it won't work here. The next option, trying to think of our options here. Our next option, so I mean, technically speaking, I could do something really ugly like this, where it's an actual string, because the inner HTML, it just wants a string. So I could technically say like const span template is equal to this, and I could technically say span class name equal to and then feed post creator emoji this, and then style equal to, and I don't know how React's gonna take this. I don't know how to do inline styles. I'm really stupid. CSS inline style. I don't do much inline in normal CSS. Let's see. Okay, so we'd say style, and then we say background image $sign curly brace. Ooh. How are we gonna do this? I guess we'd have to put it inside there, which is kind of gross. We'd have to do this. This is really gross, but we have to do something like this. We have, instead of just saying our document span, we do this. And then what we do is this background image would be our e dot, or we do the image map find thing again. So this is kind of gross. And then what's wrong with this? Characters expected a comma. No, that's fine. I'm not sure what's wrong with that. So let's try this again. Emoji image map dot find, and then we say e like this, e dot emoji is equal to characters of I, and then maybe we say like we'll say let image equal to this, and maybe we do question mark this, otherwise empty or something. Does not like that though because I missed this. So basically what did I miss? This looks fine. Let image equal to this there. So if we find the image, we'll go ahead and set it to that, otherwise we'll set it to an empty string, and then that should hopefully mitigate some issues. We'll see if it does. So now we have URL like this, $sign curly brace, and then we have our image. Then we need to close the span, so I think it should go there, and then span, and hopefully this looks good. And then maybe we console.log our span template, and let's see what this looks like, I guess. And we're gonna get rid of this else because that broke everything. In the paragraph we're gonna get rid of as well. I just want to see what the span template looks like. And if we come in here, let's refresh. Hopefully this makes the span hello, and we do this, and it makes a span template that has the URLs object, of course it is, but the rest of it looks okay. So let's figure out why this is object emoji map dot find. What if we did this? What if we did it like that instead? So again, delete that and do this. Still object. Image is emoji maps. Oh, you know what? We need dot image. Yeah, so now we have the span. Again, I don't know how this is gonna map, because basically what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna go ahead, and now that the template's there, I'm gonna go ahead and say characters of I once again is equal to span template. And if we console.log our characters, this should at least have something here. So as you see, we have a span, and it's just a string. All these are just string. So we should be able to say, take this string, and first let's see if we can even return this paragraph. I have a feeling that this is not going to work. Yeah, HTML paragraph is, so let's, can you convert a HTML element to a ReactJS or something like that. HTML JSX, well, that's not really I want. Trying to think. Create a JSX dot element. Create element React. Import create element from React, return create element with an h1 and hello and a class name. So I wonder what happens if I do this. So we should be able to import this, I would think, because it's a TSX. Let's try that. We're just trying things at this point. Import, and this is create element from React. Some nights I may get more done than other nights. It is what it is. So let's go ahead and say, let's see what this create element, what do you return? Create element is a function that returns detailed React HTML element. So if we say, let's do this. I'm just curious how we can work on this. So we're gonna say const paragraph is equal to create element, and this wants, it looks like at least a type of element, and it doesn't look like we really need much more. So what do we have on this paragraph? We have key, props, and type, and ref. We're not working with much here. Dang. That's rough. That is rough. Thank you, Solwar. Appreciate it. We might need to create a custom element. That's tough right there. It has no options. So, I mean, the thing is, I could take this paragraph, right? I could take this paragraph, I could do this, I can add in the class name that I want. That's not a big deal. Class name equal to feed, whoops, not equal to, class name colon feed post creator post dash and then content. That's not that big of a deal. I can deal with that. That's fine. The issue is the actual content. So like, more or less what we want to do is be like, let content equal to an empty string, and then we'll say updated content equal to an empty string, and then we want to say for let I of characters, and we say updated content dot push. We didn't have to do it this way, whatever. Updated content is equal to updated content plus, and then characters, I guess it'll just be I, right? And then we would go ahead and return this here. Now the problem's gonna be, I'm pretty sure it's just gonna print out the span like it's nothing, right? And that's, yep, that's exactly what that was gonna happen, and that's obviously not at all what we want to happen. We want to inject the HTML. The other thing we could possibly do is we could dangerously set HTML, I guess. React dangerously set HTML. And this might work. So data, I think this is what we do. So we return the p tag like we had before. I don't know why I didn't think about this. Class name equal to, and this can be any data you want. So class name again equal to this feed post creator content. Let's get rid of this paragraph. And then we could say inside here, we'll say dangerously set inner HTML. And we have to do this weird syntax. I've only used this like a couple other times. HTML colon, and this will be updated content. And theoretically that should turn this, create this span and put it in there. Theoretically. So it looked like it did something. Hello. And then interesting. So let's make sure that the span looks correct. So what is updated content? Let's console.log the updated content and see what this looks like, to make sure it put the span in there like we expected it to, because this should technically work, I believe. So if we say hello, okay, I'm not seeing the span. Characters I is equal to span template. The problem is I don't know where this console.logging from. Let's make sure the span template's working as well. Console.log span template. Save that, and let's also go ahead and say updated content so we know what's going on here. Okay, so let's refresh. We'll say hello space. Okay, so updated content has the span, has the style with, although we might have to do, since this is now React, we might have to do like this. Still no bueno, huh? So it's there, it's got to be there because it's the updated content. So what if we just have a span with some text in it? Let's see if that pops up. So let's see if there's something like weird going on with like this maybe. So let's have a span with text. Span with text. Okay, so that's there. So it does not like, I guess, the background image, I suppose. That's the only thing I can think of. So let's go into here and let's go to where our background image is. So we literally have background style, this background image. I don't know why there's a comma there. So this is what our style looks like. Save that and let's throw style in there just like that. And we can do this. We don't need the backticks because we already have backticks. And then I guess you needed quotes maybe. And then here we're gonna have image. And then I think that got closed early. Let's see. Still says text. So maybe data. I mean, it looks like it has everything it's supposed to that I can see anyway. Style, background image. So we take this span right here like this. If we take the span and put it directly into our emoji dropped or our content, although we can't, but if we just like put it here, URL, did you mean URL? So, oh, you know what? This needs like this, doesn't it? Okay, I might see an issue here. So this URL needs to be encapsulated. I don't think we need this part. Well, maybe we do. But this needs to be encapsulated in quotes like that, I think. Hello. Still not working. Updated content. It says hello. It has a span. The only thing I can think of is it has to be the style. Like, that's the only thing that I'm thinking could be breaking it. So if we put the span in there and we get rid of the style background image, get rid of that and save. It does need a class name though. Let's go ahead and at least put a class name on it. And the class name was like feed dash post creator dash post content emoji or something like that. I'll just double check that. Feed post creator post content emoji. I think that's what I put, but never hurts to double check. Cool, so let's at least look for this and see that it's being injected. So if we say hello, so we say hello, we put like the emoji in there, and we go into our elements, and let's go and just go into our elements. So home layout, we have our content section, our feed, our creator, I guess it's right content. So the content just says actually we don't want content, we want this guy, which has hello, and it does have the span. So this guy does have the span in there. Yo, thanks for the subscription, Otto, I appreciate that. So it does have the span in there, but the image, the background image, does not want to work. So here's the next question. Instead of using a span, what if we used an image? and set the src to this. So let's try an image. So I have img, and we'll have to set some things. That's fine, and we can get rid of this, do that, and src is equal to, and then so for src we'll do, I broke this, we'll do that, $, curly brace, image. Whoops. So let's see if we can get an image tag working. Okay, that's a lot better. Obviously it's way too big, so height 20 is too big. Let's say 10 by 10. We're gonna have to deal with some stuff here because we want it like inline and everything. So I didn't do anything, so that's cool. So we click on this. So that's massive. We set the height and width, and that did nothing. Let's see. Image set height and width. I'm pretty sure it's just height and width, right? We shouldn't have to set it like that, do we? Width equal to 10. I didn't think we had to set it like this. Height equal to 10, but maybe we do have to set it like that. Yeah, okay, I guess we do. Shows how much I know about HTML. 20. Looks good. This is a little bit off. Delete it. Hello. Put an emoji. And then how are we doing? So it's a little bit weird. We might need it a little bit smaller. So let's say like maybe 18 by 18. I think the spacing is slightly off. And I guess we could check what the spacing looks like by doing, and it could also be we need to like come in here as well and set like margin 0 and like padding 0 and just a couple little things like that, and maybe that's doing some weird stuff. So see how it's like not really where we want it at. So maybe I do go ahead and bump the size back up to 20 by 20. And it looks like we might have a winner here. It's taken me way longer than I wanted it to get to this point. I don't know how much you guys are going to see of this. So now it's still a little bit off. And what I'm saying we could do is we can come into here and we can get rid of the transparent color. And we'll be able to see the color for a second and kind of see how this looks. So this is going to look really scuffed. So you see, but it looks like maybe we need more margin. I can't tell which one's which. This one is obviously the bigger one, or but it looks like it's pushed over a little bit. Like we need margin on the left. So like it looks like we need like margin left like 1 px or something, like something small, maybe a little bit more, 2 px. And I don't know if this is actually doing anything. 2 px. I don't think it's doing anything. It might not like the dangerously set HTML. And to that, fair enough. Fair enough for not liking it. I get it. So let's see. So margin's not doing anything. We might have to inline style this guy completely, because this isn't working. I don't think any of this is working. So let's just say like, so this is straight up a CSS. So if we say style equal to, and let's say margin 0, and let's see if that changes anything, because this is dangerously set. So I don't know. Let's say margin like 2px. Let's see if that adds margin, if this is working. So that did set margin. Okay, so that's good to know. So set that to 0. This is gonna get a little bit funky. Okay, so right now we have it set back to 20. We do. So let's add margin left of 1px. Didn't do anything. I think it's spelled right, and I think that's how you do the inline. Let me double check inline. Colon, and then you just use commas. Yeah, so that should be correct. So it doesn't look like margin is doing anything, unfortunately. And it might just be because of the fact that this isn't a p tag, maybe. So maybe if we put, I don't think padding will do it either, but maybe we go ahead and say padding 0 to be safe, and see how this looks. So I'm just looking here. So we say hello and then smiley face. So it's almost like there's too much space to the right, is what it feels like. So if we say F, well, I don't know if I added a space there. Space F. You see this? It's like there's not enough space on the right side. So it's almost like we need margin right. Let's see if I can get this to work. I'm just gonna be like 10px, something massive that you should definitely notice. Hello, space, this, F. If we go into our console or our sources here, we should be able to see this. Feed, creator, right, content. As you can see, we have this guy, although it acts like this is different. So what if we did this? Why is this part acting different? That's kind of weird. Like this part is, the rest of these are in quotes, but this part's not, which is strange to me. Why are these ones in quotes, but this one outside? What's going on with that? Style. Fix this style. That could be an issue. So if we do that, this should be way too big. Let's give it a nice refresh and empty the cache, just to give it the best chance. Hello, space, F. Yeah, it's not adding what we want. The next question is, do we map through this and create a paragraph tag for each section, and then whenever we run out of content, or because right now basically there should be extra space, but it's not. It's acting kind of funky. So here's the next question. We have a span template already, right? We could be like, let current sentence or something, right, equal to an empty string. At the top of this, we could also create a paragraph, and what we could say is like, okay, we have let p equal to paragraph p paragraph. I don't know what the class name would be. We'd have to deal with the class name. And basically what we do is, let's just close this paragraph, and then $ curly brace, and we can have current sentence, set the current sentence, set that paragraph. We could get the image right, and then what we could do is, how do we want to do this? So we could have a string for the current HTML or something. Let current HTML, current inner HTML equal to, and then we can just have that be like that, and then basically we'll have an else, and anytime it's else, we'll say current sentence is equal to current sentence plus characters of I. So we'll get the characters, otherwise we'll create a p tag, we'll create an image tag, and then what we'll do is we'll say current inner HTML is equal to current inner HTML plus our p plus our image, and then we'll also go ahead and say current sentence is equal to an empty string, and start over and start creating the sentence again. And then here, for the time being, I'm just gonna do what I was doing before, where I will just return, well, you can keep that, I guess, but let's go ahead and get rid of this dangerously set for a second. Let's get rid of this. Maybe, hopefully it lets me do this. We'll get rid of this for the time being. Okay, it doesn't like that, whatever. We'll just delete it, and we'll have our content here. Yeah, content. It'll go back kind of the way it was before. I want to console.log our current inner HTML. And we'll get rid of that. Whoops. let's see what this looks like, see if we can get kind of what we're expecting. So if we say hello, it's not printing anything because we haven't set it yet. Shoot, we're gonna have an issue, huh? Because it's not gonna set until we see an emoji. So we might have to do this in reverse. Because we're gonna need the current sentence no matter what. So what we could do is we could say current inner HTML is equal to current sentence. This might be weird. This might not work. Although, you know what? Yeah, we need the p tag, right? That's an issue. How do we want to deal with that? We can move the p tag out. That's gonna reset the p tag every single time. We might need like multiple checks or something. Because we still need like, I still want to create like a p tag here. No matter what we do. I want a p tag for the sentence even if we don't have emojis in there. So and the issue is every time we modify it, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. The other thing I'm kind of thinking here is we could do like an array, which is kind of funky, that we reset the middle section of the array. So like we could do something like, we can keep the let current inner HTML, let current p tag or something equal to an array, and we want this to be like p comma empty space comma p, like that. Whoops. And then what we could do is anytime we just have a current sentence, anytime the characters get updated and it's just a sentence, we want to do current sentence. I guess instead of current sentence, we'll say current p tag, and then 1 is equal to current p tag of 1, and we'll append the characters.char@, and then we'll also go ahead and say this might also need, like, current inner HTML might also need to be an array, which is a little bit strange, but hear me out here. So we have this guy, and so now what we do is here we can say, let's have a let inner HTML index equal to 0, and then what we can say is inner HTML, or current inner HTML of inner HTML index is equal to, and we'll go ahead and say current p tag 0 plus current p tag 1 plus current p tag 2, and then what we'll do, so that'll update the p tag all the time. Here, if we get an emoji, we'll go ahead and say inner HTML index plus plus. So then it'll only count up each time we get an emoji. And then what we'll go ahead and do is we can also do like the resetting. So we can also go ahead and say current p tag of 1 is equal to an empty space again, so then we'll restart, and then we have our span template, which just should actually be an image template now. So image template, and our image template has that, so then we can say like current inner HTML of inner HTML index is equal to our image template. And then let's just console.log our current inner HTML to see if we have the array like we want, and we might have just wasted a bunch of time. And that didn't mean anything. So let's see, characters.char@ is not a function. Oh yeah, never mind. This is not a string. That should be I. It's my bad. Refresh that. So if we say like HELLO, we have our paragraph, we have a space, we hit this guy, we have hello with an image tag, and then if we hit a space and start typing again, hello again, we have a paragraph, although it scuffed it. Oh, you know what? We might have to do like this. So now we have image and then that. So that sets that up. And then basically what we need to do is map this into one string and then inject that, I think. So then we can finally say const dangerous HTML is equal to how do I want to do this, in a string I guess, and then for let element of current inner HTML dangerous HTML plus equals element. What is this problem? It's a constant, so we'll say we have our dangerous HTML, and then here instead of this content we'll say dangerously set inner HTML, and then we have underscore HTML, and then I think it was, is it equal to or colon? I forgot already. Colon, and then this would be dangerous HTML. So it looks like trash, but what we need to do now is we need to add a class to it, and we need to make it inline and all of that stuff. So I forget how to do inline stuff. That shouldn't be that bad. Oh, it broke. Hello. So that's not great. Let's see here. So we have our feed post creator content, and we probably could have done spans here, and this might make it a little bit better if we make this a span, and we can, you know, obviously we'll go through and make it look nicer. We make it a span should be inline. So hello space this guy space hello. So, but the thing is, now theoretically this should be more susceptible to like styling wise, because if you look at the dangerously set inner HTML, now we come back in here and we say hello moto, and we add a space here and come back into our elements div, excuse me, and feed creator right, and then here we have this content and we have a span, an image, we have a span. The thing is the span margin right still doesn't seem to be working. But we could also add like a margin, or we could add a class to it. And this might want class instead of class name as well, and that might help a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. That made it way smaller. So now the class is actually working on this guy, and we can actually come in here and take a look at that. So is it feed post creator 2020? So now this is actually working. And that's almost what we want. So if we do this, we add this guy, and then M. Did we add a space there? I don't remember. So space, this guy, space, M. So yeah, it's still a little bit scuffed, but maybe now that this is working. So right now we have a margin left of 5. What if we say like, not 190, what if we say like 10? Let's actually add some margin. So it doesn't still quite look right. We might need some, except I think we want margin right. What if we add margin left and right of 10 px? This might be getting a little bit crazy here. Let's see. Whoops, sorry. So now this is way over here, which doesn't make any sense. This should be getting farther apart, I feel like, because we have margin left and right on it. Interesting. I don't think these spans. I'm not concerned about those spans. Let's get rid of the style, because this could be overriding with the way that this works. Just making sure I'm not deleting too much here. There could be some stuff getting overridden. So now it's not working at all because, hello, now it's massive. So height and width, we're doing something. Although that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but whatever, I guess. Now it's still big. Why is it so large? Height 20, width 20. Is this one equal to? It's probably equal to, huh? And that is an issue, I guess. We'll have to figure out how to deal with that. Let's refresh. So that's an issue. Hello? This. Let's go ahead and overlay this one again. See what's going on. Yeah, so it seems like this guy needs pushed over, right? It seems like it needs pushed over to the right. So that's why I tried to put a margin left on it to give it that space. The margin left does not seem to be doing anything. It's like I have margin left 20 right now, or 10 right now on the emoji, and even if I put like 100, it's not really doing anything. See, it hasn't moved. So it seems like even though whenever I added, like, whenever this was like a 10-10, right? It seemed like it made it smaller, except now it doesn't seem like it's making it smaller. So maybe I broke this. Let's see. So we have this guy. Oh wait, you know what? I did not actually change it in here. I just changed class. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Yep. Okay. Okay. So change it back to 20. Change that back to 20. Let's put our margin 0 on. Our padding 0. I didn't change it correctly. So now, obviously we're all the way over here. That's not what we want. So now we can start tweaking this. So if we say 10, I'm expecting it to be too much. It is. So if we say 5, what does 5 look like? 5 is pretty darn close. We're not going to get it perfect. And we're going to want some padding on the right as well. So this is right. We want padding right, or not padding right, margin right, like 2px or something. Something small. Whoops, and I scuffed it. Finally making some progress on this. So that's not bad. It looks like everything needs to be pushed over to the right, like just barely. So like it looks like this post content needs a padding left of like 1. So like if we say like padding 0 and margin 0, whoops, margin 0, and then padding left 1 px or something, that might line it up a little bit better even. Except now it's scuffed a little bit. So it looks like we need padding on the top, and it still needs to come over a little bit. So let's line it up. So 2, and I'll also style. So that looks pretty good. And we need to fudge this over a little bit. And obviously this is too thick. So we need to throw basically on the span, it's a class equal to, and then like feed post creator content content paragraph or something. And then we're going to set, what we can do is come in here, and we have the content. What I'm thinking is we do this, and then we take the font size. Oops, take the font size. Maybe, can I type? Thank you. And the font weight. We might need the Z index. Well, I don't think we will. But then we can do that, and this should hopefully fix the font size and font weight. And that lines up pretty darn well, up and down. Obviously this needs like some padding on the top or something. And it's because it's an absolute position, probably. So if we change the position, it might be a little bit better. But now we're getting to fine-tuning stuff. So now we don't need as much margin left on the emoji. So the emoji, maybe this is like 3. And let's see. And maybe it's actually 4. Again, I'm just tweaking here and there. And this took a lot longer than I expected it to tonight. So then that might be about as good as we get. And then this guy obviously isn't lined up. So now this needs to be like, what if we put like 4? So that might be about right. And then what we could do is, I think on this guy, we're going to say padding top 10px or something. And this is probably not the way to do this, just so y'all know. But I'm making do with what I have. So that almost, I can't tell if I went too high or too low. So let's try like 18. And if you can really tell it's too low. No, it wasn't low enough. 18 is almost good. Let's try 20. Okay, 20 is too much. And this might be one where you're not going to get it perfect. It's just going to be what it is. So I think that's about as perfect as we're going to get. I think that looks pretty darn good. So now what we do is we go ahead and hide this again. Let's see, we go color transparent, save that, and hello. This is looking pretty darn good. And I mean, that's what it looks like on Twitter. Now we did have this issue where we do this, we click on this, it says undefined. Now that's obviously an issue. So what we might want to do there is just do a quick check and I didn't get what I wanted done today. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So if we hit this emoji, it's gonna have, it never checked it basically. So maybe we check, it at least has a current p tag, but it's not set. We might do a check, like if the inner HTML index of 0 is equal to, it might be undefined, I'm not sure. I mean, it's gotta be undefined, right? It should be inner HTML. If this is the case, then we want current, whoops. Current inner HTML, and I love when you do that, is equal to undefined. Just console.log, insert a blank p tag. Let's see if this works. So if we go back to our console, well, you can already see it, but if you click on this guy, click on here, go here, it says insert a blank p tag. So if that's the case, we'll go ahead and say current inner HTML of inner HTML index is equal to, and we'll say current p tag. Whoops, current p tag. And this should only happen like once after this. Although it's, that's interesting. What happened there? That's not what I was expecting. Let's see the elements. Drop down right. Content. Why does it have 2 spaces? Interesting. Where do those spaces come from? Let's console.log the current inner HTML array. What does that look like? So it's a span with nothing in it. That's exactly what I expect. Although it says array 3 maybe, no, that's what we do, right? Oh no, but we do this. So we want this to be current p tag 0 plus current p tag 1 plus current p tag 3 or 2. That might be the issue. It might be confusion. Yeah, and we can say like hello. Then we can have another one. This is looking pretty good to me. So cool. I think that's gonna probably do it. Let's do some cleanup. This is probably gonna be a little bit of a shorter episode, all in all, just because basically we just worked on this function right here. But it's already 10:45. I don't really have much more to work on, or much more time. Unfortunately, things keep being pushed back and back and back. Next episode, we're definitely going to try to get the fuzzy search done. That should just be basically searching by name. So we have to do another map where, or I guess you won't have to do a map. We can just use the one that we already have because it's already by name. Something I didn't check is, does this work? So we change it to this. Boom. Cool. So that looks good. But yeah, and then the last thing, I'm not sure how the post is going to work or look. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't work, so I'm not going to test it right now. So that's something I want to test early on. And finally, there's one other thing I wanted to do. It might just be the search, I guess. We can mess with the recent. So right now, obviously, it doesn't go anywhere because it's empty. But what I'd like to do is recents. I'll probably make like a local storage instance where it has the last, like, I don't know how many, 9. I'll just do like one row, the last 9, and do like a method check or a function check to see, hey, has it already been used, move it up or down the list, and do it that way. So that'll be probably pretty easy to do as well. And yeah, I think after that, I want to look into, I wanted to do the feed post or the post feed, but you have to be following someone to see their post. So we need to be able to follow someone, and the way you're going to be able to find someone to follow is going to be through the search. So we need to kind of probably set up the side search bar, because Twitter has like a, let me pop up Twitter and look at it. So it has like a search up here, and then has some other stuff like who to follow. Who to follow, I don't know how we're going to do what's happening. Probably won't be able to do. So I want to be able to search for a user, basically, and then follow said user, and then see said user's post on the screen. So that's going to be the order. And then after we can follow someone and see their post, like when we refresh, then we're going to go ahead and work on the notifications. I need to make a decision what I want to do for the notifications. I have a couple of options. One option is to use Kafka, and we are going to have to use like WebSockets, but we could either use Kafka and make a message stream that another part of my application consumes, and then more or less sends a message across a WebSocket. Or we could try something else. We could just, set up WebSockets and do it that way. I think that's also a valid way. I have a couple of examples I built to work on it. It's just been a while since we messed with this. But I think that's going to be it. This ended up being a little bit more complicated than I expected. But everything looks good now. You can highlight, you can delete it all. Looks good. And then we also, of course, want to be able to open and close this. But that's going to be it. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for watching the video after the fact. Thanks everyone for the likes, the comments, everything else. And I'll see you guys in the next episode or live stream of Let's Build Twitter. Have a nice night, everyone.